There's a couple brand new Switch stories that just dropped that we have to talk about today, starting with Nintendo, and being almost 6 years into the Switch's life cycle is still breaking all-time sales records, and I want to talk about what this means for the future of the platform as a whole. Then the big talking point for today's video is the reason why you may be seeing leaks online suggesting that Mario Odyssey 2 is indeed the next 3D Mario game, and I want to cover where these leaks are stemming from and whether or not we can indeed expect the next 3D Mario to be Super Mario Odyssey 2. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we're covering a couple different stories today, and I want to kick it off with the NPD sales results that just dropped. And if you guys are not familiar with the NPD, they do track all physical sales for games and consoles here in the US region, or North American region rather, and we got some updated results today through the month of November, and surprise, surprise, Nintendo is continuing their trend of being the top selling home console out there, period. And that has actually happened 35 out of the last 36 months, which of course you can say is partly due to some lack of supply on the Xbox Series X and PS5 side of things. But the fact that it is still trucking along so late into its life cycle, now 6 years plus in, is very impressive. And of course, there's probably something to do with the OLED refresh happening and some people double dipping. The Switch is also unique in the fact that it is of course a hybrid console, and it's probably the only console in history where you have, like, maybe you have a family of like 2, 3, 4 different kids, all of them might have their own Switch, where of course back in the day you would probably buy one Nintendo GameCube for an entire house, and now you might buy each child their own individual Switch. So of course they're in different territories here, but I do want to start off this conversation by hopping over to Nintendo Everything, where they have the exact figures typed up, and then I also want to briefly cover the top selling games list as well, because we do have some interesting numbers to report on there in addition to the Switch's overall performance through November. Switch sold 1.13 million units in US last month, top selling console. Today, Nintendo announced that the combined sales of all Switch sales in the United States last month reached 1.13 million units. It was the best-selling console of the month, the company confirmed. This information is based on the latest data compiled by the NPD group. Nintendo also announced that during the holiday shopping week of Thanksgiving, which includes Black Friday, Switch was also the top-selling video game console. The system sold nearly 550,000 units during that period. Switch has now been the top-selling video game console for 35 out of the last 36 months, Nintendo said. Nintendo of America president Doug Bowser said in a statement, "With the wide-ranging library of games and 3 options to choose from between Nintendo Switch Lite, and Nintendo Switch OLED model, the Nintendo Switch family of systems offers something for everyone this holiday season. As we head into 2022 and the 6th year of the Nintendo Switch, the system continues to see strong demand. We look forward to even more people adding Nintendo Switch to their households." Now then, to also quickly hop through the list of top selling games in the month of November on the Nintendo Switch platform, we of course have the brand new Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Pokemon games being ranked at number 1, Mario Party Superstars, which of course also recently released back in October, sitting at number 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the game that will not stop selling, is at number 3, Just Dance 2022 at number 4, couldn't care less about that game, Animal Crossing New Horizons at number 5, Shin Megami Tensei 5 at number 6, which is huge for that franchise as a whole, and it is absolutely at new levels that it has never seen success in sales wise, and that Switch effect is running strong for that particular game. Then at number 7 we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, number 8 Super Smash Bros Ultimate, 9 New Super Mario Bros, and 10 Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which actually saw a Black Friday discount of its $99 price tag, bringing it down to just $60, which was a rather impressive discount and probably what helped it get on the top 10 list. So as somebody who's been around as a lifelong Nintendo fan, it is just an exciting time to see Nintendo really thriving consistently and being the home console leader month in and month out. I mean, they missed it 1 month out of the last 36 months of being on the market, which is just a very notable and respectable thing, and it shows that their strategy is working out here. And as somebody who watched the GameCube, which of course really underperformed in sales but was a fantastic console, and then also lived through the Wii U era, which was like a total mistake misstep for Nintendo on how they marketed the console, and how, you know, the average person didn't even know that that was like the successor to the Wii. They thought it was like some kind of controller accessory. It only sold 13 million units in its entire life cycle, and that's why we do actually see a lot of Wii U ports brought over to the Switch, because they need to have a better chance to actually sell to the Nintendo fans that never bought a Wii U to begin with. And by the way, Nintendo, we're still waiting on Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD to come over to Switch as ports, so please get to work on that if you're not already. But we are quickly approaching a milestone of over 100 million units of the Switch being sold, and this of course is the North American region numbers we're talking about today. So we are not talking about other regions in the world, and we are already talking about an additional million plus units sold in just the month of November, which is massive for the Switch's overall momentum. And it also leads to the conversation of if Nintendo just keeps running with this same hardware lineup for the foreseeable future, or if we truly could be around the corner from something like a hardware refresh next year or into 2023, as Nintendo may want to extend the life of just the base Switch platform to something like 8 years plus, as they've mentioned numerous times in investors meetings that in their mind the Switch is only halfway through its life cycle and we are approaching the 6th year next year. So I think that's a really interesting talking point. In terms of the games, one game that is unfortunately missing out of the top 10 is Metroid Dread, and I'm like, what the heck, Metroid fans? Like, go buy 2 or 3 copies of the game if you need to. Tell your friends about it. Make sure they download the free demo that was available on the eShop. Like, there's all types of things about Metroid Dread that I want to continue to see it sell, and I think we will, but you definitely saw the hardcore fan base show up for day one, and it is not on the top 10 list. That said, Shin Megami Tensei 5, that's really incredible to see that come in at number 6, and as I mentioned, definitely the most successful installment in the series so far. And then the Pokemon games hopping right to the top of the charts. Like, obviously Pokemon is a fan-loved franchise, and these being remakes selling so well will have me really curious to see how Legends Arceus does when it releases at the end of January. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you think this means for the larger picture of Nintendo Switch going forward. Do you think that before we get the true successor to the Switch, such as like a Switch 2, that we will indeed see Nintendo release some kind of hardware refresh, meaning like a better chipset, something like 4K 60 output to HD TVs before the true successor comes out to this console? I personally am in the camp that yes, I do think that we will see that, and I do tend to believe the previous Bloomberg reports that are out that suggest that Nintendo has either 4K dev kits in developers' hands, or at least are gearing up for 4K development on their games. Like, is it the next gen? It could be, but I also think Nintendo wants to ride out this unprecedented success of the Switch's life cycle. So I could definitely see them making the long rumored, long awaited Switch Pro, or whatever they may end up calling it, maybe even new Nintendo Switch like we saw them do with the DS, as soon as the end of next year, or at least into 2023. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on all things NPD results, and also bonus question besides the console performance, what do you think about Metroid Dread not being on the top 10 list this month, and do you think that we will see that game actually break the all-time series sales record, which it needs to sell roughly over 3 million copies to do? So I do look forward to hearing from you guys on all things NPD in the comments down below. Now, the big story we're talking about today is the reason why you all may be seeing leaks online suggesting that Mario Odyssey 2 is the next 3D Mario installment, and I want to break down where these leaks and rumors are stemming from, because it came on my radar via Twitter and a couple other videos of fellow content creators that I follow. And you know what? There is some reason to talk about this, as you know, originally if I see something that says 4chan leak, I throw it away. It's not credible. It's not, you know, it's something in my book, just 99% of them are trash, and they're not actually real things. It's just people wanting attention online, so they make this laundry list of all these things that may come true. The reason this one is popping back up is we have to go back to 2019 at the original starting point of this leak, where a 4chan user essentially suggested that they knew the future of both this next Sonic installment and Mario installment, as they were part of some kind of research group for both of these games. And the reason why this 2019 leak is being discussed again today is because, surprise, surprise, the Sonic portion of this leak is 100% legit. Like, they're even to the point where they are calling out the islands, which are named Starfield Islands, that we recently found out after the Game Awards trailer went live with it, and that 2019 leak called that out. So this is, of course, even before we heard about Sonic Frontiers being a project that then leaked in 2020. So there was definitely research being done on this topic, and the leaker is suggesting that they also had access to research on what Nintendo is planning with the next Mario game, which will be Mario's Odyssey 2 according to the leak. But to start this conversation off, I want to present all the information to you guys. So let's hop over quickly to our gaming leaks and rumors, where they kind of have a breakdown of what essentially has happened so far and the reason that this is back in the news. Mario Odyssey 2 and Sonic Frontiers leak. An anonymous post was made back in November 2019 where a user claimed to have made a survey for video game concept, including a new Sonic game and Super Mario Odyssey 2. While looking like a regular faker 4chan post, this user correctly guessed, in quotation marks there, the entire plot for Sonic Frontiers and where it took place, Starfield Islands, in one of the concept. Everything was recently confirmed to be true with the official reveal of Sonic Frontiers. Now, a couple things to call out here before we read through the actual original leak is the fact that the image that was used for Sonic was traced to a DeviantArt, which is a fan concept art website. So this is not legit a screenshot of Sonic. Like, this user definitely added this in there. So that's maybe your first thing to give you a little bit of a red flag with this. In addition, the Mario Odyssey screenshot that is shown that supposedly we are supposed to believe is Mario Odyssey 2 is actually for sure a screenshot that can be traced back to the original Mario Odyssey, not being a graphical image of Mario Odyssey 2. So with that in mind, let's read through the original leak together so you guys can make your own informed decision on whether or not you think this is legit. So they're quoted here saying, "You probably won't believe me, but I did an online survey on several ideas for video games. One is Super Mario Odyssey 2 and one is a new Sonic game set in the Starfall Islands. There are several other name prototypes. Odyssey 2 has Luigi. I went through half a dozen Sonic concepts and 2 or 3 for Mario. The Sonic game is on Switch, don't know if it's multi-plat or exclusive. Odyssey has 20 locations. To be honest, I'm risking a lawsuit posting this. I have 38 pictures, but here's a cut of one I made with ShareX." Now, the first image you're seeing here is the previously mentioned image that was traced to DeviantArt, so that Sonic screenshot was not in any way, shape, or form legit, but rather the details of what is being said about Sonic Frontiers is actually what is making this leak legit, in the sense that it calls out specifically Starfield Islands, and you can see all the kind of bullet points that breaks down the description of what Sonic Frontiers actually is, which of course is the reason we're talking about this today. Now, when it comes to the Super Mario Odyssey 2 post, the corner of that screenshot has confirmed to be from Mario Odyssey 1, not 2, so keep that in mind. But let's read through the details of what is actually available on this picture and what we could be looking at if this Mario Odyssey 2 portion of the leak is in fact correct. Super Mario Odyssey 2 Concept F, action adventure 1 to 2 players, local and online co-op. The second act, explore even more bizarre and beautiful landscapes as you discover, capture, and control new enemies. Join forces with new and old familiar friends as you battle against Bowser and his loyal Goombas. Keep in mind, Goombas is misspelled on this screenshot, another red flag. Mario and Cappy head off on another adventure, but this time Luigi is along. Cappy's best friend Bowler has also decided to join the party. Playing with a friend is even more fun with new interactions between Cappy, creature, or enemy you can capture and control. Take off the newly remodeled Odyssey to explore new corners of the universe, paint to customize and upgrade your Odyssey as you progress. Cappy isn't the only sidekick that'll help you along your quest. Yoshi and others join your party. 20 distinct locations filled with hundreds of new puzzles, creatures, enemies. Hundreds of new side quests that offer up over 100 hours of additional, and it cuts off there, but I'm assuming it's gameplay. And the last thing I want to cover from the original Reddit thread is actually somebody's comment who I personally agree with, and just kind of to set this talking point of where I'm going to land on this leak, whether it being real or fake, is tied to what this user said here below. So it says, "So I would hate to burst your guys' bubble, but these were concept surveys, not games. The Sonic one was actually made, but there were also multiplayer Sonic concept for the same leaker that wasn't made." And so with all that information presented, that's really kind of where I land. It does sound like this was probably a legit survey that was asking about concepts for Sonic and Mario games. And while it could in turn be Mario Odyssey 2, like that's not that far-fetched, it sounds like this particular user probably got some, level of detail that was legit for these games and decided to go type up their own, leaked screenshots. They probably don't want to risk any kind of actually NDA lawsuit if they were indeed even put behind that, which I think you would be if you're in some kind of secretive survey, but I'm not going to claim to know all the details because I've never been a part of anything like that. But I do know that those things get done, and obviously the Sonic Frontiers portion of the leak is a little bit too accurate to say just totally dismiss and throw out this information altogether. That said, I think that this could definitely just be one of those concept interviews where you're like, how would you as a fan, as a Nintendo fan, respond to these type of Sonic and or Mario games? and this doesn't mean that exactly what is suggested as being Mario Odyssey 2 will ultimately be what Nintendo delivers. But I did want to at least bring this up to you guys and give you all the exact information so you can make your own decision. And I also think it starts an interesting conversation around what we can expect for the future of the Mario franchise, as we saw Nintendo recently give us, of course, Mario 3D World ported over from the Wii U, and it included Bowser's Fury, which of course was almost like their first stab at a open world Mario level design. And I really enjoyed Bowser's Fury, and I wouldn't mind them going in that direction at all. I actually think it's a very fun idea, and I want to know from you guys if you'd rather see Mario Odyssey 2, or if you would rather have them go in a completely new direction, or maybe revisit old ideas like Galaxy 3, which I would personally love to see for nostalgia reasons. I will even happily take Sunshine 2, which I know is probably not going to happen, and it's probably not a popular opinion either, because Sunshine, for whatever reason, is not the fan favorite Mario. But for me, it's actually my favorite 3D Mario game definitively through and through. Like, the challenge that game has to offer, the level design, everything about it is great. So I will buy Sunshine 2. I don't think all the other Nintendo fans will, so they will probably stick to something like Odyssey 2 as the safe bet, or they will go into a brand new direction, maybe give it the Breath of the Wild treatment, and we have a giant open landscape for Mario. Like, it's definitely an exciting conversation to have. So that's where I want to pose the question to you guys at this point in the video. Please share with me all your thoughts on everything we talked about today in reference to the NPD and the Switch's success, but then specifically, what do you hope Nintendo does with the future of the Mario franchise? When do you think we could potentially see an announcement for the next game, as it's been quite a while since Odyssey was, of course, originally released in 2017? And do you think that this leak is legit and will in fact come true with all the details, and you think that we are getting Odyssey 2 sometime in the near future? So I do look forward to hearing from all of you guys on all the topics we talked about today, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.